Interest is the amount that your money earns, for example, in a bank account, or interest can also be what's charged on something for borrowing money, for example, a credit card or a mortgage on a house, or maybe just a bank loan that you might get for your first car. Now, there are many types of interest, many different types of ways of calculating interest. Simple interest is not really a common one in terms of what financial or banking institutions use, but it is a really good way of starting to understand what interest is about. With simple interest, what we are doing is just earning the same amount every year. It is a constant amount of interest each year. Some of the terms that we need to know before we start using the formula is principal, which is the amount that you borrow or the amount that you invest, depending on which way you go. And we call that P, the rate of interest, R, and that's per annum, PA, which is per year. Time, it's the number of years, and that's really important. It should always be in terms of years. Interest is the amount that you will earn, and that is in dollars. All right, as is principal, that is in dollars as well. Now, the rule, which is going to be really important here, I is equal to, so interest is equal to the principal times the rate times time divided by 100, or PRT over 100. We will be using that quite a bit. The other thing that you should perhaps know there is that if you wanted to work out the total amount in your account after the interest has been added on, we would say total, or if it was a loan, we'd say total repaid or total amount is equal to the amount borrowed, which is the principal, plus the interest, which makes sense. If you had $50 in your account and you earned $2 interest, then you've got $52, and so that's your total amount. Let's have a look at some examples. So with these examples, let's write down all of the information that we've got to start off with. So in part A, we are asked to find the interest. So I is what you are looking for. When $600 is invested, so we're starting with $600, that must be our principal, and at a rate of 8%. So R is 8% per year, which is very important. And T, the amount of time, is 18 months. Now remember, T has to be in years. 18 months is 1.5 years, so it's 1.5. Remember our rule, I equals PRT over 100. So let's substitute it in. So what does I equal? P, which is 600 times 8 times 1.5, all divided by 100. And putting that into our calculator gives us $72. Now, you can use your calculator there. You can use the solve function. So from here, this line here, I would probably do solve, and I would put, rather than I'd put X equals 600 times 8 times 1.5 over 100 and comma X. And so that is going to give us $72 when we put it straight into our calculator. Okay, so the next one wants the annual interest rate. So this time you can see we're looking for R when $5,000 it earns $150 interest. So $5,000 is the amount you're starting with. So that's 5,000. And interest we know is $150. T is equal to 2 years. Again, our rule, I equals PRT over 100. Now in this case we have 150 is equal to 5,000 times R times 2, all divided by 100. Now you can rearrange that if you want, or like we said before, put it into your calculator. So it would be solve 150 equals 5,000 times x times 2, all divided by 100, comma x. Now in this case, your x is going to be R. So when we put that into our calculator, we find that R is equal to 1.5, and that is 1.5% per year. So that's what my interest rate is. All right, let's look at the last one, the number of years. So this time we're asked to find T. So we need the number of years it takes $450 invested at 6.2%. So $450 is the amount that we're starting with. That is our principal. The rate is 6.2%, and the interest, because it earns, interest is earned, is equal to $36. All right, remember my rule, I equals PRT over 100. So I really have started all these questions the same way. And again, I'm going to substitute in what I know, and I know that 36 is equal to 450 times R, which is 6.2. Now T is what I'm looking for in this case. So that's all divided by 100. And I would suggest to you the easiest way again is to use solve on your calculator. So we're going to go solve this time, and it would be 36 is equal to 450 times 6.2 times x. So every time I'm using x rather than the letter, because it just makes it easier on your calculator. That's all divided by 100, and comma x, because that's what we're looking for. All right, throw that into your calculator, and when you put that into your calculator, you should end up with T is equal to 1.29 years. 1.29 years. Now let's look at this example. We do need to do some thinking here. What information are we given? $3,000 is borrowed. So we know straight away that $3,000 is our principal at a rate of 12%. So R is 12% for 2 years. So T is equal to 2. So that's going to be for part A and for part B. But what does part A want us to find? What is the total amount owed after 2 years? Total amount is not just the interest, it is the interest plus the principal. It's your A. So let's find the interest first. All right, let's find I. Then we'll be able to work out the final answer to the question. So given that we know P, R and T, we're using our rule, I equals PRT over 100, substituting in again. So I equals 3,000, times it by 12, times it by 2, all divided by 100. Okay, again, we would use solve on our calculator for this. So it would be solve x equals 3,000 times 12 times 2, all divided by 100. And don't forget that comma x. Putting that into your calculator, you get the interest is equal to $720. Now the question didn't ask for the interest, the question wanted the total amount, it wanted A. So A, if you like, remember A was equal to the principal plus the interest. This is now the total amount that you would have to borrow because you're charged for borrowing. So it would be equal to the principal, which was $3,000, plus the interest charged on it, which was $720. So all up, you end up paying back $3,720. Okay, now in part B, we're told that the repayments, we haven't really come across that before, the repayments are made monthly. Okay, so how many repayments do we have to make? Well, we had the loan for 2 years. How many months are there in 2 years? 12 months in 1 year. So there must be 2 times 12, 24 months altogether, which means 24 repayments. So if altogether I'm paying back $3,720 and I'm paying it back for 24 months, I would have to divide that amount by 24 to see how much I'm paying per month. And that ends up, when I put it into my calculator, being $155. So I'm paying back $155 per month for 2 years on a loan of $3,000. And that's because I have to pay $720 in interest over that time as well.